I'm Chelsea, and my presentation is about a woman named Malerato. Excuse me. So, meet Malerato. She is from the country of Lesotho. Lesotho is located in southern Africa, and it's actually an enclave in the country of South Africa, which means that it's a country that's surrounded by South Africa. It's like a little island within South Africa. And here's the flag of Lesotho, which has a typical Lesotho hat in the middle. And so Malerato was born and raised there. She went to school there. She went to an English medium school, it was called, which they teach in English starting at kindergarten. Although there are two official languages of Lesotho, there is English and Sesotho. Lesotho Sesotho is the language. And then the people of Lesotho are named Besotho. So the country is Lesotho, the language is Sethoso, and the people are Besotho. Trying to say that 3 times fast. So the country is pretty unique in that it was, it's surrounded by South Africa, which experienced apartheid, but Lesotho didn't. So it's kind of this weird little island in the midst of apartheid. So so she grew up there, and then she met her husband, who is from the United States but was living in Lesotho at the time. They got married. They had 3 children, 2 girls and 1 boy. And currently, so the oldest daughter is named Lerato, and she is 10 years old now. And Lerato means love in Sesotho. Her second daughter is Palesa, who is currently 8. And Palesa means flower, and her youngest is her son, who is Thabo, and he is currently 6, and Thabo means happiness in Sethoso. And so they all grew up in Lesotho up until 2 years ago when they moved to Sunnyside here in Portland, and this is a picture of some street art in Sunnyside. So 2 years ago the kids were 8, 6, and 4, and so they had been in school in Lesotho, and when they came here they moved to this neighborhood, which is 90% white population, and not very much other variety. There's black, Asian, Hispanic, 2 races, and other. So the reason why they moved to Portland was because the father wanted to come back to the country of his birth, and the reason that they chose Portland, because they don't have extended family here. They chose Portland because they were researching different cities in the United States, and they found that Portland was progressive, that a lot of people in Portland hold passports, which they thought meant internationally aware. And then the third reason that she mentioned to me was because of how much fresh water there is here. So rivers, lakes, mountains. I definitely feel comfort in the fresh water of our city as well. So those are the reasons why they came here, and then when they did come here they found out that one downside of Portland is that it is largely white, and that has caused some struggle for them. And she talked to me about some things that are definitely different here and that have been hard for her to adjust. So in Lesotho, she was used to everybody being pretty open, pretty trusting. Her children could feel comfortable talking to other adults, and everybody kind of just was more comfortable talking to each other and being open, like with strangers, for example. And then helping others was very common. But then when she got here, she found that there's a lot of different boundaries. And she told me one story about when she was at a park here in Portland, and a child, a small child, like 2 years old, fell down, and she rushed to help the child get back up. And the parents of the child were really upset that she had overstepped her boundaries in this way to help this child, and she was, really taken aback by that, and still doesn't really know, like, how we all interact and what her place is within this, and she doesn't know if it's because of her race that people feel a little bit more taken aback, like had she been white, if perhaps that family would have been fine with her helping their daughter. So she just expressed to me a lot of not knowing her place because of the different boundaries here in Portland. And then she also shared with me, this made me really sad, that she feels like when she meets people that people have a negative attitude towards her just based on her appearance. She didn't let me take any pictures of her, so this isn't her, but this woman looks a lot like her in that she has really short hair. So Malerato was telling me that like other black people don't approve of her because she has this like short hair and isn't all, I don't know, done up, or she's, you know, she just is very practical in her style. And then that white people don't know what to make of her either. So she just feels like people have this really negative attitude towards her just from the get-go. But then she said that once they hear her speak, because she has a British accent, that their impression gets a little bit better. Like, oh, maybe she's not just exactly this stereotypical person that I thought she was. But that made me really sad to hear that she experiences that. And then another story that she told me about that just happened recently was when her and her family were on an airplane, and her son, Thabo, who's 6, was being silly. The flight attendant came and said, "May I have your final items? We are about to land," when they come and get your trash. And he had his cup, and he was holding his cup, and he was going, and he said, "No, you cannot have my cup," being silly. And the flight attendant got really upset and was just like, "Give me your cup," and treating him like he was just this delinquent, this 6-year-old being silly. And then Malerato said that for the duration of the flight, every time this flight attendant walked by, she would give him mean looks. And when they were getting off the plane, she like was giving them these disapproving looks like, "You are a bad boy," you know, kind of a thing. And Malerato just felt like the race of her child was really a major factor in that interaction. Like, that it wasn't, you know, and I said, if I were on a plane with my son, you know, I would probably just think, this woman is having a very bad day, or something like that. So I guess that's part of the white privilege that we experience. We don't have to think that it probably has to do with race, which it most likely did. And then the other big challenge that they came upon was when they were registering their kids for school. So they registered, in Lesotho, the children had completed schooling of certain grades, and so when they registered them for school here, they wanted them to be in the next grade up that they had completed. And so, but the school said no, that because of their age that they would have to be in different grades, which were lower. The oldest child was put into 2 grades down, and then the other 2 children were put into 1 grade lower than they had completed. And so that was a hard blow for the children, for the family, and then the school said that if the children took these standardized tests, that maybe they would be placed in the higher grades. But then Malerato talked to other families who have immigrated, who have immigrated to the United States, and that they've had really negative experiences with the standardized tests because the content of the standardized tests are really United States centric. Like, there's questions about the, you know, transportation systems and certain games or media or even like weather that like people who grew up in other parts of the world wouldn't know about, and so then they're at a disadvantage. And then the other thing was that she just feels like all the teachers in her kids' school are white, and that they are just completely unaware of the bias that they show, that they treat her children differently because they are biracial, and that they don't even realize it at all. They think that they're like this progressive, aware school, but like underneath the surface they're totally biased. And then for what can we do? She said just to be aware, know that there are many valid perspectives. Our perspective is only ours. It's only our truth. It's not the truth of everyone. Treat people equally regardless of their culture, race, gender, orientation, or special needs. And then lastly, she mentioned a program going on at Sunnyside that's called Courageous Conversations About Race. And it's a Portland Public Schools program to help families understand and address the impact of systematic racism on student achievement. And that PPS is rolling this out to all the schools, but we should definitely make sure that the schools that we're in are doing this. Thank you.